Yeah, so glad to get through to Janet Silvera there. Silvera, yes. I'm going to read just before the news, since some of the people were asking us to give some more little insights into Haile Selassie's life and what life has taught him. He was, he was encouraging him people when the Italians were preparing and trying to capture Ethiopia, 1935, 36, 34, 35, 36. And he was advising some of the people, especially some of the males, and giving them courage. He said, man has not been created to be everlasting. They must reassure them and stop fret about death. Man has not been created to be everlasting. His end is death, which severs him or separates him from this world. This death may come early or late, but for all mankind it is inescapable. It is man's name alone that remains as a memorial until the world, which appears to hover beyond the grave, passes altogether. Him say even the world will pass altogether. Him say when this our enemy, the Italians, are fought us at Adwa 40 years ago, that was in 1896. Ethiopia's brave men beat him victoriously. Hence, their names will remain, the names of the Ethiopians who beat the Italians, will remain unforgotten, mentioned forever. Not only yours who are alive, but even those who were lost there. It is a main source of pride for this present generation. Again, even for a young man, as the enemy attacks him, robbing him of his country and his patrimony. Now this applies to us who was captured from Africa over 500 years now. Again, even for a young man, as the enemy attacks him, robbing him of his country and his patrimony, that means when father left him, and carrying his family into exile, may I tell you, man, it is the death that comes upon him in battle, which is indeed his greatest wish and source of pride. In other words, all when the enemy capture you and carry away and carry out of your land, fighting back and even dying in battle is his greatest wish and source of pride, because he knows it's going to lead back to her. Let me read back that again. Again, even for a young man, as the enemy robs him and attacks him and robs him of his country and his land, carrying his family into exile, it is the death that comes upon him in battle, which is indeed his greatest wish and source of pride. Even the hen, the fowling or the mother fowl, Haile Selassie say, even the hen will struggle to save her chicks from the vulture or the jankro that, May I read back that again? Him say, remind you, the fowl, he must tell about the fowl, Not only the sense fowl who is very fierce and cross, but the fowl, him say, even the hen will struggle to save her chicks from the vulture. This being so, recognize that it is proper for a man to fight to the enemy. However many thousands of times the enemy may surpass him in knowledge and strength. That means if the enemy have thousands of time and knowledge more you, and thousands of time of strength, it is proper for you to fight the enemy. Yes, for fight the enemy. We're not encouraging war, but we're encouraging defense of your family and your people, like what the hen will do against a vulture. Him says, since death is in the end something that cannot be escaped for mankind, how great will be your honor if you lose your life fighting the invading enemy? To establish an inextinguishable, it can't out, reputation we can't out, to prevent aged parents and wives and children being exiled and going into captivity. And while today they live in dignity in their free country, if that liberty was to be destroyed, to prevent them sinking into humiliation and this their dignity being lost, your glorious name will endure, being praised by your children and your families and being recalled by world history. I hear the last sentence where I'm going to read you now. It must not be thought that he who betrays his mother will benefit his nurse. Hear what the last say? A man will betray mother not going to do no good for him nursemaid. Then if you betray your mother, you're going to help out your nursemaid or your nanny or what, somebody else who adopt you. I listen last say that. It must not be thought that he who betrays his mother, that are your country and your land and your people, you know, as well as your mother. It must not be thought that he who betrays his mother will benefit his nurse. And we have here, as I tell you, Storyteller Morrison, Richard Storyteller Morrison, as the paper here said, the alleged Showa Posse leader, who was extradited to the United States, prematurely surrendered. The Jamaica government surrendered him to the United States police prematurely, before it was legal to do so, or before it had been cleared, due to what was claimed to be a clerical error. So a clerk working at the Supreme Court has make a mistake, and them give him up. And the United States government not going to allow any of them citizens to be given up that way. But he was given up, and him served 22 years in a prison. Is it, sir?
No, man, that's true.
22 years in a prison on the basis of wrong procedure, extradition order being executed. Not true? Something like that.
Exactly so, but I also like to emphasize the difference between being in prison legally and being in prison illegally.
Yeah.
So it's 22 years illegally.
Yes.
That makes a big difference.
Of course. And because of that, you're seeking some correction of injustice.
Well, a lot of people refer to the lawsuit I had in the court as Storyteller's lawsuit, but in essence, it's not really Storyteller's lawsuit. It's a lawsuit that I have standing to bring on behalf of the Jamaican people. Because after all, the extradition treaty is supreme law of the land.
Yeah.
It's not a personal treaty. It's a Jamaica-US treaty. And when that is violated, the laws of Jamaica is violated. And that affects everybody.
Yeah.
The CIA is responsible for creating gangs all over the world, including places in the Caribbean, Africa, and all that. One gang that we know of over here for sure is the gang called the Showa Posse. All OG street dudes from the Jamaica and the West Indies respect the Showa Posse game and how they got down and all that. But would they respect them if they knew that the Showa Posse comes directly from the CIA? I'm not sure if they would respect them or not, because the Showa Posse come directly from the CIA. The CIA created them. Not only did they create them, they even gave them military training. They taught them how to shoot military weapons, how to get out of situations where the police is coming around. Because you had all these stories about them, like, they shoot everything up. They serious. They always get away from police. They know how to disappear. All type of stuff was put on them. But that came from their military CIA training to teach them how to move. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So people always say, yeah, they were gangster and they did this and that, not knowing that this same gang or crew was brought into America by the CIA. It's the same thing like they did with the Cubans. When you go watch Scarface, the movie, all the American hip hop people, yo, Scarface, yeah, he the best. But when you go back and watch Scarface was a CIA agent. Scarface got into the country by because of his affiliation with the CIA military that they created in Cuba. You know what I mean? And once he got into the country, they gave him a little corny job. Remember, he had to do assassination too to get his papers. Then they gave him a little corny job at a stand somewhere. But in order to get higher, he moved up high on the ladder to even when he was basically working for the government selling drugs. So it is what it is. They do this with all the places and all the nations. Like right now, they're doing it with the Haitians, and everybody wants to be a Zoe or a Haitian or whatever. Back in the days, every West Indian wanted to be a Jamaican. That was the cool thing, because the CIA was promoting it. They they had movies promoting it and all that, and stuff like that. Had a lot of Jamaicans in movies as gangsters. So that helped the lore and to condition the people in that era. Like now, they got all the new things, all the rappers that coming out talking about being a Zoe and Haitian stuff and all that type of stuff. That's from the conditioning. Same thing, same CIA conditioning they did it back in the days. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm cool with mad Haitians. Haitians is, I was always cool with them. A lot of real dudes. You know what I mean? They're just like everybody else. But whenever you see something getting promoted so much by popular culture, best believe that our agencies have their hands in it, promoting certain things, because that's their guys now that they, you know, that they moving the drugs through and all that. I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. There's a lot of things that goes on all throughout the world that, you know, that the powers that be control, while we think it comes naturally, or like, oh, these guys are just super gangsters and they fought off this one and that one, that's why they became. Nah, they got their position, and why they were so strong and got such a strong backing is because they got they got intelligence agencies and law enforcement backing them up, believe it or not. You know, I'm just gonna keep this one based, you know, most of the information that that I showed you on this one is, you know, it's gonna be based off the you know, the Showa Posse. You know what I mean? Because they was named for showering people with bullets with their machine guns. People don't even know that the machine guns came from the U.S. government, and we the one that trained them to shower bullets.
When you learn all of these things there, because life is a great teacher, and even tribulation can be a great teacher. So you become very well educated in these things. When?
Well, I have said this, and I repeat it in any forum that I'm in, that I've never met a more corrupt set of people than the people I've met in the administration of justice, both in Jamaica and the United States. So therefore, I was forced to learn the laws, my constitutional right, because I was convinced that it would not be protected, and the cloud of secrecy was getting thicker and thicker. The collusion between the two governments to violate my due process right was, I mean, it's something that I had to do for myself. So I was forced, yes, to go in the law library and learn the law. This is something you have to do for yourself.
So how early in your life you start travel?
Started traveling quite a bit early. I can't remember exactly how young I was the first time I traveled, because I never really keep a date to that, but yeah, I've traveled extensively. Teenage years.
So you have family abroad already? I
have family everywhere, yeah. In England, Canada, United States. My kids are over United States, my whole family. As a matter of fact, I'm basically the only one from my immediate family here.
So what part of Jamaica you grew up?
I grew up in Richmond Park,
yeah,
and then, you know, migrate to places like Norbrook, Cherry Garden, and, you know, places like that you live. Right now I'm currently living in Arcata.
Yeah, yeah. Another brother, another Jamaican, I think it's Vivian Blake. Is him the go Georges, or are you?
He went to Georgia. I went to Kingston College.
Oh, God. I see the North Street. I mean, it's the best of the efforts, the nation building efforts that Jamaica manifest. Because the nation building begin from before independence.
Of course.
And it is even some of these schools will help show the possibilities of what can really come out of Jamaica and so on.
Right.
And now the book. Was it you produced the book?
No, I didn't produce the book. The book was produced by Vivian Blake.
Oh.
But I must say this again.
Is it Marm's son?
Well, it's alleged that his son wrote it, but to the best of my belief,
yeah,
I think that he was the one that wrote the book.
Yeah.
But I must take this on every occasion that I have to make this point that Vivian Blake was never a friend of mine. I never even knew him.
Yeah.
People find that strange.
You were in Florida, he was in New York, he was in New York.
Yes, he was in New York, I was in Florida. I think at one stage he even came to Florida. But a lot of people find it strange that when I say I don't know Vivian Blake, because considering the fact that Jim and I were such good friends.
Yeah.
So when they find that hard to believe, I ask them this simple question: if they have a brother,
yeah,
and more than likely the answer is yes. So I said, are your brothers friends, your friends?
Yeah.
And they said no. So I said, so you see, it's possible to know a person real good,
yeah, but
not be friends with everybody he's friends with.
Yeah.
Because I knew Jim real good, but there's a lot of people that Jim was friends with that I didn't know, and Vivian was one. So that's my answer to that. When people, I think that the propaganda is that Jim and I and Vivian alleged. I don't know where that came from.
Alleged what?
to be partners or leaders for this gang called Showa Posse, which I never even heard of before.
Yeah. When is the first time you heard of that?
When the indictment came out.
Oh yeah, that was what year?
88.
88.
88.
And you were where?
In Florida.
And when you came to Jamaica?
The same year.
So after when the indictment came out, you were allowed to come here? Or
No,
you weren't restricted?
No, I mean, the indictment came out in the paper, and I was not apprehended.
Oh.
So I was free to move.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I thought that, okay, let me leave the United States till this thing sort itself out, because this must be some misunderstanding.
Yeah, yeah.
So I came to Jamaica, and then I was arrested on those propaganda allegations. No proof was ever presented to me of any involvement or anything, but I was extradited up to face charges in the Southern District of Florida.
That's what,
91 June.
By this time it's Daddy Bush.
Yes, the father Bush was in office. So when they took me up, they took me to the Fort Myers in the Middle District of Florida, which is nothing to do with the allegations in the extradition request.
Yeah.
On numerous occasions I informed my attorney, who informed the Jamaican government representative Holland Knight, that I was never extradited for this case. Their response is that they have orders from the Jamaican government to only protest the alleged breach that took place in Jamaica, but not this blatant breach of the doctrine of specialty in the United States. So in one day I had two breaches. One, I was extradited with the appeal pending, and they claim it was an error, which is a breach. And then hours later, I'm taken to the wrong jurisdiction in the United States, which is a breach. So I'm saying, how many breaches can a case have in one day? So when we brought the attention to Holland Knight that this case was not what I was extradited for, they told us that on instruction from the Jamaican government, they are to ignore this breach. Now, I might have used the word ignore, but when you don't do anything about it, when you're defending a person or an interest before a court that lacks personal jurisdiction over the issue, that's ignoring it, because every court first and foremost has to make sure it has jurisdiction not only over the person but the subject matter.
Yeah.
They had jurisdiction. Competence. The whole it has to be horse and carriage. You can't have subject matter jurisdiction over drugs but not the person, because the treaty restricted the court jurisdiction over me as a person only to the case in the Southern District of Florida, Miami. So that was in clear collusion. And then for the Jamaican government to file a motion into a court that lacked personal jurisdiction over me to address the issue, that's a kangaroo court, that's a sham court, when it's been brought to their attention. Unfortunately for me, in Florida, I could not bring that breach to the court. The Jamaican government was the one who had to allege that their treaty was breached, and then I could join them, but they refused. So I was stuck protesting this breach and the court not recognizing what I'm saying, because they are saying the Jamaican government has not said anything about that treaty being breached, so therefore maybe they don't consider it breach.
And ideally, a citizen's government supposed to represent them interests and protect them, especially in an international situation.
That's so, because the treaty is law land both in Jamaica and the United States.
Yeah.
So when they said that, and that breach in my case not only affect my rights, it affect every Jamaican that was ever extradited, because the treaty is one treaty. The breach took place in 91, and they had a suspension of extradition for a period of say 3 to 4 years because of the breach in my case. How could they reinstate the treaty without correcting the breach? Every first year law student knows that a treaty is a contract, and if a contract is breached, the breach has to be corrected before the contract can be reinstated. Then you can take a promissory note of no further breach. But you can't say, okay, don't breach it again and move on, which is what happened. But in essence,
all right, we're coming to a little recess in a extradition 101 class, a little extradition 101 class. In a straight up here. We have our guest here today. I'm sorry that we never have more time with him. We have to go make a plea bargain here. You can come back. You can come back like a month time.
Yeah, man.
That was nice, because, you know,
Yeah.
we learned so much from you. By the way, how you get the name Storyteller?
Well, back in the days we used to gamble.
Yeah.
You know.
So when we play the Stagger League,
You know, a friendly game of Peter Pat, then we put a little more
in Kingston.
in Kingston here, Jamaica.
Yeah.
So we put a little fun to it now. We start putting 25 cents per game.
Yeah.
So another friend of mine named Roy, he was gambling, and more times than often he would lose. And I always had some money on me, so he would always hit me for money and say, Jimmy, let me get a so-and-so. So at some stage of the game, you kind of get tired of him asking for money.
Yeah.
But you can't tell him you don't have the money because he's looking at your pocket, right? So you have to come up with a story why you can't give him the money. So I would tell him all kind of reasons, like, oh, this money is just for the so-and-so. That's why I gamble, see if I can get so-and-so.
Yeah.
So on this day, you know, it was raining real hard, and he lost his money in quick succession. So he couldn't leave, and he was bored. So he turned to me and said, hey, Jimmy, give me a so-and-so, no? And as I start giving a story why I can't give him, he says, every time I ask if you have money, give me a story. Boy, he's a real storyteller, you know that?
Yeah.
So every time for that I'm playing, every time it's my time to play or to pluck, him say, you're a time for pluck, storyteller. You're a time for pluck, storyteller. And I use that name as a CB angle back then.
Oh, yes.
And it stuck. That's where that name originated from. Yeah. Then I have a friend named Bobby T. He was the one that promoted it.
Yes.
Roy coined it, but Bobby T never let it go. Because he was on the CB radio too. And as a matter of fact, I think it was at his insistence why I had to use the storyteller.
One of them people know Citizens Band Radio, man.
Yes.
That was a cutting edge communication before cell phone.
Right. That is how we communicated, you know.
Yeah, CB Band Radio.
But a lot of people don't have a misconception how that name comes. You know the word story accumulate, people say, you tell too much story, like lies.
Yeah, too story, yeah.
Right. But nothing I've said today is a lie, or nothing I've said in the past is a lie. It's all factual.
Talk about that and talk about plea bargain. When you were in the US, or even in Jamaica, didn't they invite you to make a plea bargain?
Of course, even on the threat of the death penalty if I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to them that, and one must understand, what I was propaganda to Jamaica for, I was never even arraigned on. So in other words, they want me to plead guilty to even one of the allegations to make it legal.
Yeah.
So I said no. And they come and they bring out, it took them 2.5 years before they decided to dismiss the indictment. Because you have to understand, Jerry, this was ridiculous. I now understand why America manufactured that weapons of mass destruction thing to go into Iraq. But I still can't figure out why that Showa Posse gang was formed in America and what was the purpose. Because what it did, it just took guys who knew each other and put them on a one and said that it's a gang and say you was a leader, you was a leader. This don't come from police investigation.
Build you into a corporation.
Exactly. So I still don't understand what benefit, and I'm surprised to see how the Jamaican government and the Jamaican people accept it as true, as if something go like that for true. But I'm still trying to figure out why that was done, because there was no. The Showa Posse to me is like a unicorn. Everybody know what it look like and what it is. But in the
unicorn, that
the fictitious animal.
Yeah, a make-up animal, a horse with a one hand.
Right. See, you can describe it.
Yeah.
But in reality, it don't exist.
No.
But it's the same to the Showa Posse. If I ask anybody about Showa Posse, they'll say, yeah, I'm not a Showa Posse. But in truth, they don't exist. Because I have put a challenge out to any authority, whether the Jamaican government or United States government, and at any forum, to prove to me that is a Showa Posse, and most importantly, to prove to me that I was ever part much as a leader.
So what kind of charge were they able to try leverage the death penalty upon you? What charges was those?
Well, I can't tell the facts, but what I understand by on the American law, on the racketeering law, is if you're charged with racketeering and you are alleged to be the leader of a group, every action by the group, you are responsible for it.
Yeah.
So being labeled one of the leader for Showa Posse, every action that they attributed to the members or whatever, the Showa Posse, it is applied to you. So when people hear about these murder charges and this and all that, it is on the racketeering law. In other words, if you go to a church and you're a member of a church and there's members of a church who's involved in illicit fundraising and they put that illegal money into the collection, They can indict the whole church, you know.
Yeah.
And you as a member of the church comes on the indictment until your name,
proceeds of crime.
right, until your name is cleared individually. But by then the headlines is out there. That you are charged with racketeering for this and that and all that, but nobody follows up to see when the charge is dismissed. Because to this day, the American people and Jamaican government has not come out fully and said to the public that what he was extradited for, he was never charged, and what he was tried for and convicted for was illegal and therefore null and void. They don't say that. They're still giving people the impression as if what I was extradited for, that's what I was convicted for. That's why when I came back to Jamaica and they give me that song and dance speech about welcome back to Jamaica and all that, after she get to the part about the fingerprinting and the picture taking, I raise my hand. And I say, listen, I'm not taking no fingerprint or taking no picture. So she asked if I'm challenging the system.
Which lady is this?
That's the lady at Armbarks that greets you when you come back, the police sergeant lady.
You come back on a U.S. Marshal?
Right,
on
right.
Plane.
Back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
So when she asked me if I'm challenging the system, I said I'm not. I'm just not taking no fingerprint. So about 20 minutes later, I hear my name being shouted out. And when I look, I'm being directed to a table where it's like a convoy of police officers taking fingerprints. So I looked for the lady who I told I wasn't going to take a fingerprint. And I said to her, didn't I tell her I'm not going to take no fingerprint? Because I don't consider myself deported. I consider myself liberated.
Yeah.
Because you're being held illegally and now you get back your liberty.
22 years.
22 years.
Where that was? A federal prison?
Federal prison,
In
basically
what
in
state?
mostly in Florida, but I spent some time in New York and then finally in Ohio. But and I've raised this claim I have never acknowledged.
What was the cumulative sentence total?
24 and a half years.
Are you the 22 out of that?
Yes, because if you don't cooperate with America, you get no break. And America, Jerry.
What year did they send it back here?
January 2013.
Wow.
And since I've been back, I've filed a lawsuit because I can't get the time back. But these people it has to be proven in court that what they did was wrong. They can't ratify these treaties between two countries with laws in it that protects me and Jamaicans, and that law is ignored and on the part that benefit the United States.
By the way, them take away property?
Well, no, because the United States government realized that the case was illegal because I kept telling them that. So they won't move with forfeiture against your property, knowing that the case is not solid. But they won't send you back either. They will just say, oh, under the law, if we have it, we keep it. That's not the law. That's the policy. The law in America is if a person is brought before the court through the proceedings of an extradition procedure in his home country, he can only be kept in custody for that. But the Jamaican government did nothing. As a matter of fact, they acted in collusion with the U.S. government by suppressing documentation here, not just for me, but even my attorneys, to prove that I was not extradited for that case in Fort Myers. So, in essence, I was tried, convicted by a court that lacked personal jurisdiction over me for 22 years. And even when I was in custody and the treaty was breached, I questioned every action that the government takes under the treaty. And every request, including the request that resulted in the incursion in Tivoli Garden. What the commissioners should first verify is if the incursion was legal or constitutional under Jamaican law, considering the treaty was breached at the time. So what authority they had to move to apprehend him under the treaty? Yeah. So they're talking about who did what and who did what. The question is, was it legal or constitutional?
Not only that, at the time of the 2007 election, it was clear that the previous administration had been already making arrangements to hand over young Coke here, to hand him over. And when the 2000 election resulted in a change of government, that was one of the urgent things that was put before the new government.
Well, I don't believe the prior government would have acted on the request because they knew that the treaty...
They did not on it. It was there for some time.
Yes, because they knew that the treaty was not valid. So they didn't want another controversy on their hand involving another JLP supporter. So what they did, they waited until JLP...
I know, but that's what I point out.
Got into power.
And it was handed right over and told that this is urgent, you know, you have to deal with
this.
You have to deal with this quick.
But you could tell that something was wrong. Look at how it was done. with this MOU where they bypass
Yes.
the regular procedure and go straight to the police.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because the United States knew they couldn't go through the regular procedure because they knew that they had violated the treaty, still breached the treaty before, so they had no legal right to make a request. So if they didn't have a legal right to make a request, they knew that Jamaica government couldn't act. But these governments, they are more interested with relationship with America than the constitutional rights of Jamaica. They keep saying about Manhattan. Who hired Manhattan? Well, the question is, who hired Holland and Knight?
Yeah.
Which government would you rather? One that hires a law firm to protect a Jamaican citizen's constitutional right, regardless of who that person is, or one that hires a law firm to help to railroad a Jamaican overseas?
Yeah.
If you ask me, I'd say the one that protects Jamaican citizen's right. Because what they did to me, as a matter of fact, at one stage during a hearing in '91, the Jamaican government says that they were acting on the sole behalf of the United States government. The prosecutor got up and says he's not going to accept.
The prosecutor.
Yeah, for the U.S. say he's not going to accept responsibility for what happened in Jamaica, because he's not aware of the Jamaican government operating the sole interest of the United States. Because he can say for a fact that the United States will never violate one of their citizens' rights for any country.
Yeah.
So he's not going to accept the fact that Jamaica want to say, well, you know, I do it for you, basically.
Yeah.
But that is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Mr. Small, that a lot of people might think that this is a personal fight, but this is something. I've sat in that courthouse and I see the disrespect that the United States had for the Jamaican authorities and Jamaican laws. Very, very disrespectful. And I made a promise to myself then and there I was not going to let it. So yes, I can only be compensated financially, but it's not about the money. It's about setting a trend and an example that this will never, no government will ever be able to sell out another Jamaican like they did me.
Well, this is a preamble to the story of Richard Storyteller Morrison, and we're looking forward to a next month installation.
I'll come as often as needed, and I appreciate you having me here and giving me the airtime, because it really needs to get out there.
Thank you very much. Let's go straight up.
Blessed brother.
Yes, we're going to take a few more calls before we call Mr. Storyteller Morrison. Text message, please. Or we can call our guest here now. More text message. Mr. Small, I fear for your assassination. Aren't you? You mean if I am afraid for my assassination? You are another Martin Luther King, Paul Bongo, Sam Sharp, and the voice of Jamaica, but I pray Jaja will protect thee. Here we do. Here we do. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Thank you very much for your interest. But fret not yourself because of evildoers, or because of those that prosper in the way. Because themselves soon be cut down like the Green Bay tree. You remember the Green Bay tree? Or you remember Green Bay? But thank you very much for your interest. Yes,
Storyteller Morrison.
yes, sir, he's here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he's the man who happened to get obliged just because he happened not to be a citizen of Jamaica in that time.
Apparently I wasn't.
I have a bit of recollection. Am I onto something here?
Yeah, you could be.
Okay.
You could be.
All right, I'm looking forward to hearing the revelation. And Mr. Perkins, to heal you up. That is Wilmot Perkins, and I'm in touch with him, believe it or not.
You go upstairs sometime? Or downstairs him there? Hello? It looks like him missing.
Well, if I'm really in touch with Mr. Perkins, tell him hi for me.
Yes, sir, Storyteller Morrison. What are you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, the last time that you were here, we get a surprise phone call from KD Knight.
I was surprised.
Pointing out certain things. Now, by the way, was it Patrick Atkinson that represented you, or Patrick Bailey?
Patrick Bailey.
Patrick Bailey, okay.
Right.
I did have it right, but I was trying. Yes, Patrick Bailey did represent you.
Yeah.
Now you did say, because you were about to open up this issue, or this issue was about to get topical, when an article appeared. Was it in July? When it was in July, about you were intending to
file a lawsuit.
Was it July?
Just around that time.
And something did come up at the time I leaked that out of the news. What was it again?
Some
Some news thing they come up that kind of sideline.
Well, actually, that wasn't an event that would have taken the media on a day-to-day basis, because the media has been very skeptical about my case because it involved the United States.
All right, but I was just trying to remember that there was some media buzz that did kind of. But the other thing is this now. You did express the opinion that one of the reasons why you were given up by the Jamaican government under pressure of the U.S. government is that the U.S. government on the one hand wanted you, but on the other hand it suited the Jamaica government to give you up because you were too popular in Jamaica.
Well, popular in the sense that you're affiliated with a popular place in Jamaica.
Which place?
Tivoli Garden.
Yeah. You are affiliated by virtue of what?
Friendship with Jim, and I just go in there on a regular basis because I didn't see Tivoli Garden in the way how a lot of people saw it, which wasn't as vilified as it is today. Back then times Tivoli Garden was just Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli Gardens became a bad place after they invented the Showa Posse, and they made everybody that ever went there or lived there.
That's about what year?
The first time I heard about the Showa Posse was when the indictment came out for me in 1988.
1988. No, man. Tivoli Garden have a sinister image long before 88.
Well, Maxwell Avenue, Trenchtown, Dunkirk.
When I say sinister, I mean, I don't mean it put on that image itself, you know.
Well, every inner city community have rude boy, because rude boy has been around on corners from I was a boy going.
What are you saying about Maxwell and them places?
I was just saying all those areas have sinister images if you ask people about it. If you ask people about Trenchtown, they say it's a bad place. They don't talk about being the birthplace for reggae music and all that. They say, boy, up here bad man come from Trenchtown. Because at that time when they used to sing all these songs, rude boy, them a loot, them a shoot, them a boy like Chanty Town, and you know, so the image of these inner city communities been.
No, but what I'm saying is this. That I don't think it's fair to say since the Showa Posse story and so on that Tivoli have that image there. Matter of fact, Tivoli have a better image now, especially since you hear people talking freely, especially them this inquiring thing. Hold on a minute, please. Tivoli have a better image now of being far more human, especially since Omar Davis and Siaga become fairly good friends. You have Matcha play at Boys Town, you have Matcha play at Trench Town with Tivoli or go up there, you have Matcha play at Tivoli and jungle people go down there. There's a far more less hostile image that Tivoli have now, more than between the late 60s going right through the 70s.
Okay, I used to live in Richmond Park. That's where I grew up, Richmond Park.
Yeah.
And I used to walk from Richmond Park with my dog all the way down Maxwell Avenue, Retirement Road, cut through Trenchtown, all the way down to Animal Hospital. Mm-hmm. And all those neighborhoods were just low-income neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They weren't ghettos, they weren't called ghettos, they were just called what they were, low-income neighborhoods. It's in the 70s, when the political violence and the political division come, that these areas get stigmatized, wherein you can't go through that,
cross border.
you can't go through that, you can't go through that.
Yeah.
So I was aware of the political invisible boundaries as a PMP era, JLP era. When I've never heard of police trying to go into Tivoli Garden while I was a free man. All that happened after I was incarcerated. So I never know Tivoli Garden as a place.
But saying, you never know of police trying to go in there?
Up to when I was free.
What happened is that they used to refrain from trying to go in there. At one time it was under protection, and at another time it was under hostility. Because when the JLP was in authority between Tivoli never exists in 62, but it started to exist from the late 66 come up. It was under the protection of Siaga in a way that Polly and what name again, Joe Williams and that kind of thing, that police would not go in there in a hostile manner. Then after the 72 now, remember, at the election of 72, John Maxwell was put like a scapegoat to run against Siaga. He said on TV the night that it was obvious that PNP win, the 29th of February 1972, standing behind Michael Manley with the TV screen camera on him, John Maxwell said, Tivoli Gardens, here we come. And I think Michael Manley did take up that kind of sentiment by leading either a march or a motorcade to say, well then, nowhere is out of bounds in Jamaica and nobody can stop them from passing through Tivoli. You remember that confrontation earlier?
No, I don't know.
Just after the election, 72?
No. I was way too young and not aware of the political situation.
Yeah. But even though Michael Manley did make that one march past Tivoli just after the election, and even though Burry Boy was killed nearby a couple of years or months later, was killed nearby and therefore the heat, for the rest of the 70s, Michael Manley probably voluntarily kind of backed off of any confrontational sending of police in there.
I'm not aware of those events that you're talking about, and maybe that's the reason why I got caught up in something that I wasn't even aware of, and I paid the full price for it. I lost my liberty for 22 years because I was somewhere and not knowing that being there, you're being stigmatized and marked for whatever.
May I say one more thing? Now, Alan Cole returned to Jamaica somewhere late 72 from Brazil. 73. Now, you know, a lot of youth start gathering around him, just like what was gathering around Bob Marley, his closest friend.
Right.
You have the two most popular youth in Jamaica. One a sportsman, one a musician. People, youth gathering around them.
Right.
Now, by the next year, 73, Alan Cole held a dance. Now, this is spectacular because he was holding a sound system dance using Count Boise. People call him Bosley. Count Boise sound system. At the Sheraton Hotel. Now this is the first time a sound system dance will keep a Sheraton Hotel. Alan Cole keep it. Now Alan Cole is a man who in contact with that youth all over Kingston. Him not observe no boundary. So man around Tivoli gravitate around him. And him is in a jungle, same way in the jungle man him gravitate. And we are up and down because our organization that we were building, the Ethiopian World Federation and the 12 Tribe, did find itself situated right in the middle of concrete jungle in a hopeful village. And in a them time, Alan Cole keep a dance at Sheraton, October 73. Now, that is where a big confrontation take place. A whole heap of man from Tivoli come on at the dance inside of Sheraton, and a whole heap of junglers and the Tivoli man them buck up right in Sheraton at the bar in Alan Cole dance. Gonna all draw a man, a big explosion go for go on. It's only Alan Cole presence and a certain other people presence they cool down the whole set. But this was the beginning. After it cool down, and the man them cool down and start even drinking one another. That was the beginning of the thinking that one day maybe we can come to a peace. But it wasn't until 5 years later, 1978, after Green Bay, that it really started make some progress. But Alan Cole dance of 1973 October. But of Sheraton did refuse to give him the bar. Them rent him the ballroom. But them refuse to give him the bar. It's a truck, it's a Leland truck park outside of Sheraton was the bar, run by the Briscoe brothers. Now, these are the circumstances like what you was talking about. Now, you say later on now, you were friendly, even before Jim Brown, were you friendly with Claude Masso?
No, I met Jim in 76.
Okay.
So, like I said, the change in our attitude started 77, 78.
Yes, after this, yes.
That's what I came in and I saw.
Yes.
So I never saw any of the hostilities or no, so well, this is who is who and what is what and all that. Yeah. So what I saw was that unity that you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I've seen skill in Tivoli Garden on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
I've even given a ride from Tivoli Garden one time up to Halfway Tree.
Yeah.
I knew Bob. Well, not as personal as a lot of people would like to say they know him, but I knew him enough that we could say hi to each other whenever we pass each other. But so that's the part of Tivoli Garden that I saw. That part where they decided to live together.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand why my due process right was trampled so much.
By the way, just as you said, just after 76 you get to know Jim.
To know Jim.
Now this is after the 76 election where some PNP operatives trapped Bob Marley by printing a poster for his stage show in the PNP colors in the middle of an election. Them trap him now into looking like an activist for the PNP. And he said he don't want to do any stage show that way. And some of the man from Tivoli was telling Bob, don't do this show. And Bob said, I have to go through it. Some of them start to even threaten him, but Claude Massop refused to be among those who threaten him. Claude Massop removed himself from that.
I met Jim in 76, but I didn't actually start going to Tivoli Garden on a regular basis until 78. That is right after Claude died.
Yes, yes. No, Claude died 79, 1 year after the Green Bay thing.
But 78, 79, I know it was around February.
Yeah, February 79.
Year. Okay,
yeah, February 79. Yes. January 78, Green Bay. February 79, Claude.
Right, so I never knew that Tivoli Garden. Because as far as I was concerned, a lot of times Jim and I would go places, and the caliber people that I see who we interact with.
Yeah.
If we go to some of the most prominent businesses in Jamaica, from the guard at the gate to the secretary at the door to the receptionist at the door to the secretary to the big boss, everybody knows them on a first name basis. So I couldn't see anything, I was doing anything different than what other people was doing. But
so you get to know him socially or football or...
No, I just got to know him socially because how I got to meet Jim is I had a Jaguar at the time, and I had it painted in a paint that was referred to at the time as aircraft paint because the paint was only used for airplanes at the time.
Not a silver-ish color?
No, no, no. It's a texture. It is now called Emron. It is what most cars are painted in now. But
what color?
It was green, British racing green.
British racing green, okay.
Right, like but it's not the color, it's the finish.
It's the finish.
Right.
Right, you see it's very popular now.
Right, so that's a standard finish for cars now. But back in time, cars was painted in Duco. Where you had to wash and wax. So I had my car washed at Crossroads, and naturally, because of the sheen in the paint, it never have to polish. So this fat gentleman came up to me and said, how your cars are shining, don't polish. So I say, well, it's the type of paint that's on it. So he asked if I could get some for him, and I got it for him, and that was the beginning. Every time I see him, I'd hail him, and then he'd paint the car, tell him who painted my car, and he took it to his car there, and just like how everybody else, and you find that you kind of interact with a person. Me being from up in Richmond Park, met somebody from down in Tivoli Garden, you feel a little bit more, you understand, more rounded, more connected. So that was it, and that's the only kind of relationship I've ever had with Jim. So you must imagine how surprised I am, and people who knew me from boyhood days, to hear that I'm the leader of Showa Posse.
So by the way, when so Jim never introduced it to Claude?
I saw Claude, I know Claude's wife Sid.
The one from England.
Right. But Claudia and I, listen, Tivoli Garden is a place where you go down there, there's Bayer, there's this, and I...
That's a Bayer Mitchell.
Right. You see these people, but you're not there to see them. My friends in Tivoli Garden was like Bert Beek and Lionel, and you understand me? Not everybody. You see them. Claudia and I were not...
So you never know none of the racehorse man them?
Like who? Like which one of the racehorse man?
Like all, what the DJ, what him name? I have a DJ name them, and the jockey there.
Well, I might have seen them in the center, because Tivoli Garden, this is what I'm telling you, the Tivoli Garden I know, nothing was wrong with it. You go there on a Friday evening or a Saturday, the center is full of cars of all different caliber and different people. So I couldn't see anything. I don't know the Tivoli Garden where police can't go into and they shoot and all that. All that is created after.
By that time you migrated?
Well, I had migrated and lived, right. When I live in Miami, Kingston 21, you come back and forth all the while. Right. So it's not like you migrate, but you don't live in Jamaica either. So you're going back and forth and all that. I didn't see me do it. As a matter of fact, we used to have these uptown parties all the while, and Jim was there.
Like you go all up our front line, up our Red Hills Road.
Well, long before front line, we'd have like up by Sharky's by Southdale Plaza. Mel Canary set plane. I never saw me doing anything that would warrant me being treated and due process rights trampled the way it was.
So all copper now, you never buck copper?
No, never met those men. Only hear about them into the media like everybody else.
Copper used to come over dance them all the while. I think it's him leave out a 1 hour dance and go a Cayman as a night. But them ambush him.
No.
But by the way, when Claude was assassinated by the police, what Jim say about it? You move with Jim. What Jim say?
I never get into that with him. You understand?
But this is what make him put him right on top. No, it never put him. But with the killing of Claude, there was no one except Bayer who could rival Jim.
Well, I don't know about the ranking in
rival, I don't mean enemy, but
right.
As Bridgen and Bridgen, them are the most prominent.
Yeah,
the most.
I saw Bayer a couple of times. I've never spoken to him. Because like I said, I was never in Tivoli Garden to socialize with everybody in Tivoli Garden.
Yeah.
Or the runnings at Tivoli Garden.
Yeah.
I just check Jim like how a lot of other people check him. As a matter of fact, when I tell people I know Jim, some people doubt me and profess how good them know him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I'm saying, how come I get hit with this doodle stick and nobody else don't get hit with it?
So the first time you and him buck up a foreign is like when?
Like everybody else, him come up and him go down and you go somewhere you see him or him call and say, come up and him want to pick him up at the airport. Just like a lot
after the peace thing go on 78.
Mm-hmm.
And by 79, 80, people like Bones, them they are New York and Florida. Bones, you know Bones from East Kingston.
I don't know Bones. I just know.
You know the girl, you know the white woman who write Born for Dead.
No, I read the book, but I don't know her. Never saw her.
Oh, you know that Bones was our chief source of information.
Well, I don't know, but I read that book page for page, line for line, just to see if my name was ever mentioned, and it was never mentioned in the book. Because she never met me, she didn't know anything about me.
Yeah.
And I was not part of Tivoli Garden history that anybody's going to tell her about me. So you see, the only people who talk about me, propaganda me, is the U.S. government and repeated by the Jamaican government.
They might try to build a list of kingpins.
Listen, like I said before, one of the biggest mysteries is why they created the Showa Posse. I would like to know that, because I have to say created, because the involvement that they put me in never happened. So it's something that they manufactured it. So I want to know why they manufactured it.
So how you explain to them your source of your assets and them way? When I'm asking where you get this and where you get that?
Nobody never asked me that. Nobody has ever...
The US have never asked you that?
Nobody has ever attempted to ask me that, because the lifestyle I had from Jamaica before I migrated to America, it was quite easy to see the transition. Naturally, if you're 21 and drive a Jaguar in Jamaica, if you drive a Rolls Royce at 31, it's no big deal in America.
That's no...
Right, so it's not like, say, you come to America with a too long hand and you come from a background
what kind of business you was into, like at 21, you're really a high roller?
Well, I wasn't a high roller.
But the Jag looked nice, man, I tell you.
Yeah, it was a nice car, but at 21, having foreign documents and things like that, you could buy stuff in inbound stores and you could sell them back locally. Because you must remember, at the time, everything was short.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Nothing was available.
True.
So if you could buy, with your foreign documents, you could buy stuff in like stereo equipment and all in inbound shop. You can sell it back and make a
Well, I'm going to tell you, when me travel, a couple of times me travel in the 70s, I carry cassette with me, dance cassette and music and all them way. And it's mostly electronic equipment me I buy with that, mostly tape record and them kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, if I did continue, maybe I could have reached near to you, but I never that focus, because me, you know, Rastafari business take up me and me a bake pudding and I keep dance and all them things there. But and when you're successful, people gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go for a break. We're going to come back. I'm going to allow you more. Welcome back to Straight Up. We're talking here to storyteller Morrison, who served 22 years, apparently innocently, and he's seeking some redress from it. Now you're getting a feel of the 70s. Who never get a feel of the 70s? And some aspect of the 70s. You're getting a little feel of the 70s, little by little. But the more things changes, the more some things can remain the same. There's a pilot you recently spent some time in Qatar. Successful pilot. All the pilots go to these places in the Middle East and earn some good money being Air Jamaica pilot. Spend some time in Qatar. I'm getting some problems there. I'm getting incarcerated. All kind of thing going. And then when the case is becoming more and more aired and we're hearing more about it, it is being politicized, whether unfairly or fairly. He's being made out to he's being made out to be affiliated to a certain side politically. You must have heard of this Qatar.
I've heard of it.
It kind of, when I was hearing of it, it kind of remind me of
and there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Because the reason why there are similarities is because the government of Jamaica neglected his request for assistance, same way they had neglected my request. Now, they told this gentleman that Qatar has a lot of money and they might want to borrow some money from Qatar one day.
Oh,
so they can't.
They don't want to rock the boat.
Their exact words was they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah, they did say that.
That's what the gentleman said on Nationwide.
I know it says that aircraft analogy did bring me to the boat.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, can I tell you something? I don't want to be a citizen governed by a jukebox government, wherein is who put money into who punched the tune.
Yeah.
Who punched the jukebox name the tune?
Who the piper call the tune.
There you go.
Who pay the piper?
And I noticed in this coming up election, I already seen where the due process is going to be put as a campaign issue.
Also the Tivoli Gardens inquiry.
Also the Tivoli Gardens inquiry. All of that, Mr. Jerry, is a sham. Not in the sense that what they're taking place are not doing a good job, but the whole point of the matter is...
orchestration.
Right. The whole point of the matter is...
timing.
The commissioner should answer one question first, and I'll be more than happy to go to the commission, explain why this question has to be answered. And the question is, was the action of the state legal or constitutional?
Unjustified. Yeah.
Even if it's justified, was it legal or constitutional? Because you have to understand, the whole thing was initiated because of an extradition request. The person that tried to apprehend was not being apprehended for a crime committed in Jamaica, but one overseas. So therefore, we have to know if they had the authority under the extradition treaty to proceed.
Yeah, the due process.
Right, because last time I was here, Mr. Knight responded to me. I didn't get a chance to rebut what he said. But from what he's saying that they did everything to help me. Now, I'm not sure if he knows the meaning of the word help as in the dictionary. It means to assist. And everything he said that they did was a well-orchestrated plan to keep everything from ever being brought before a judge to decide. So in other words, they refuse to give me any kind of documentation to say that the government of Jamaica considered my trial a breach of a doctrine of speciality. They would not do that. And Mr. Small, I'll tell you something. In a criminal case, any agent of the state that suppresses any information or material that could change the outcome of the criminal case, it's a criminal act.
That's a criminal
so when the Jamaica
criminal offense. So
when the Jamaica government, the then Jamaica government, carefully orchestrated and dance around the issue and refuse to allow me to have my day in court by only... Now, Mr. Knight said that the Americans use a case that involved a kidnapped person. I was not kidnapped. So that court ruling has nothing to do with me. And moreover, that court ruling reaffirmed an earlier court ruling that said that a person who was extradited can only be prosecuted for what he was extradited for. However, if he is kidnapped and the agents of the state is not involved, then the court have jurisdiction. So how could Mr. Knight be satisfied? How could he be hoodwinked, tricked, bamboozled so much by the Americans that he would take a ruling, a case law that is not applicable to my case as justified reason to establish back extradition treaty back with America? So that is why I said the Tivoli thing has to decide whether it is legal or constitution. Because...
Hold on, before you go further. I wonder, have you ever been a U.S. citizen?
No.
No, people ask a question as a legitimate question. This brother, this guy was the pilot, Qatar pilot. As a U.S. citizen,
right?
Did he or why did he not appeal to
the U.S.,
the United States, to get him better conditions or get him out of Qatar?
I'm not sure about his situation, but my only recourse was the Jamaican government, because I am a Jamaican. I have no other nationality but a Jamaican. So my due process rights on the treaty had to be protected by one place and one place only, Jamaica, and by one set of people and one set of people only, the government, the then government of Jamaica at the time, which they never did.
All right. The other thing is this now. You're seeking compensation for this from the Jamaica government.
Well, the thing about this case is it has 3 jurisdictions. It has jurisdiction. I could have sued in America if I was in America. I could sue in an international court because it's international treaty. But just so happens that I'm in Jamaica as one of the 3 jurisdictions, so I choose to file here.
Did you have a permanent visa for the United States?
Yes.
Was it being rescinded? Well,
they said in order to not allow my foot to touch U.S. soil, they said, because if they were going to deport me, it would have to go before a judge. And I could challenge the ground for deportation by saying that the whole trial is nullified because I was prosecuted in violation of Article 3 of the United States and the treaty. So the conviction couldn't go through because the deportation couldn't go through because the conviction had been deemed illegal. So what they did, they said that they're going to rule me inadmissible.
I still want to know if they have rescinded your permanent visa.
Yes, because they
by what document or instrument?
They are saying that.
No, but what, by what document or instrument did they rescind it?
Well, in America, the procedure is if you are a foreigner and you're convicted, then automatically you lose your status or whatever. You know what I mean? So they railroaded. Mr. Small, I have no respect more for any judicial system.
All right, but you're seeking compensation through a judicial system?
Well, you have to file.
Yeah. Which one is it you're seeking it through? Jamaica courts?
Well, I'm suing in Jamaica court because Jamaica is a signatory to the treaty and they are just as culpable for the actions of the United States.
By the way, at one time you had wanted to go to the Privy Council before them extradited you. What happened to that?
They claimed that it was an error. And it was.
What was an error?
My leave to go to the Privy Council. They said they didn't know that I had applied for leave to go to the Privy Council.
They made an error?
They made an error.
Which office?
They said the Supreme Clerk. The Supreme Court clerk made an error by informing the then Minister of Justice.
Oh, the registrar of the Supreme Court?
I guess the registrar.
And they made an error?
Right. That's what they're saying. But based on their action now and the way they're acting now, I have now come to the realization that was no error. It was something that was intentional.
Is Patrick Bailey still active in your whole,
currently he's still my attorney.
Yeah. And you're seeking recompense from the Jamaica government through the Jamaica court?
Well, what I'm actually doing is I'm bringing a legal challenge to what took place in my case.
All right.
And to do that...
And all them papers are filed already?
All those papers are filed.
When will it be heard? I heard something about November, December.
Well, a lot of people are on the impression that it's this November, December, but it's next November, December.
2016.
Right. And this
2016.
Right. And this is another one of their stall tactics that they have been doing to prevent me from having my day in court. Because they don't want a judge to rule on whether my conviction and subsequent incarceration was legal.
Apart from the Privy Council, was your matter to be heard by the Court of Appeal in Jamaica?
As far as I was concerned, it was heard by the Court of Appeal, but I'm not sure what ground. I guess the challenge was whether the Ministry of Justice had the authority to sign the warrant, so it was not based on the merits of the case or anything, because there was no merits of the case. I was never even arraigned. I was never told in detail what I was being extradited for.
You had children before?
Yes, I have kids.
All of those will be adults now?
Yeah, they're all grown now.
Yeah, because
22 years
before
right? So
you have any sins?
No.
Yeah. I'm not being impertinent, but I was trying to figure how a family survive this kind of thing.
Well, luckily for me, all my kids are closer now than before.
Anyway, you're gonna have to come back here because we can't exhaust this thing, especially like with the Qatar pilot and other things will be coming up.
Right. So I've been more than happy.
Glad for your beer. Yeah, let us get back now to the telephone and any more of your text messages. Good morning, welcome to Straight Up. Hello.
Morning again, Jerry.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, man. We can talk with the brethren.
Quickly.
Yeah, but just want to know, Mr. Media, like him say, know why he did extradited, what was the crime?
That's right.
Then, because, why am I asking now? Extradition is a treaty thing, but it must be incorporated in a statute laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
And extradition come under two rules. You know, the rule of specialty and the rule of reciprocity. Right? And the reciprocity talk about they must tell you the crimes. They must have a list of crimes where them deemed extraditable.
That's right.
Right? And the rule of specialty though, that stop them from trying for any crime when they never extradited for.
Which never happened in my case.
You ever read up the U.S. versus Bow? B-O-W-E?
I can't recall that case, but if it have to do with extradition, especially that specialty. Hello?
Are you there? Alright, it look like I'm getting cut off, yeah. Yeah, you're familiar with those things. Yeah. Okay, next one, please. Yeah, we'll last that one. Good morning and welcome to Straight Up, hello? Next one, please. Good morning and welcome to Straight Up. Go ahead, please. Not there?
Hello?
Welcome.
Yeah, man. And good morning to Mr. Morrison, too.
Morning.
Morning, sir. You know, very interesting topic and subject here on, because, you know, I was listening to Miss... You said you are with the Privy Council, no?
No. I lost that opportunity.
Oh, you didn't have that opportunity?
I was deprived of it.
Oh, you were deprived of the Privy Council?
Right, by the actions of the Supreme Court.
Okay. All right, that's quite understandable then. Because I have an article here, and it's from the Observer, and it was from July 12. And there's a similar case with a lady named Miss Dallas. You know, and I would encourage everybody to read. This is on page 4. You know, and it's quite similar to your issue where the Jamaican government ignore you as a Jamaican national abroad.
The Jamaican government acted criminal in my case.
All right, and hear what this is saying now. I am sure that the Jamaican High Commissioner is assigned to a foreign country to see to the welfare and the interests of Jamaican citizens living in that country. Now, where justice is required, a person must be given legal assistance if he has no means of his own. Therefore, if a Jamaican citizen is in a problem and needed assistance of a lawyer because the matters require justice, the Jamaican authority have that duty to assist the Jamaican in getting a lawyer to assist them.
I understand.
All right. Let him respond there.
I understand. But in my case, the Jamaican government hired an attorney, Harlan Knight, in Florida, and that attorney, that law firm job was to help to suppress my right to due process by cover up the violation of the doctrine of speciality.
You see, the kind of conspiracy that is going on, because this pilot now had some problem in Qatar also. And I heard and I had a read on this radio station where a particular senator is championing the cause, like the Jamaican national did not have any right to any form of assistance from the Jamaican government.
All right, hold on there. We'll have to go to another call. But I noticed, you see,
yes, sir.
When I was watching the proceedings, those which were made public,
yes,
against Buju Banton, I became very dubious and suspicious about the lawyers that he had, whether they were acting in his own interest. And
yes,
as the case proceeded down to the sentencing, it seemed to me like some of them lied a trick called Buju Banton. But thank you very much, yeah?
Yes, sir. Respect, sir. Cool.
Good morning. Hello.
Jerry.
Yeah, welcome.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Permission to speak with Jimmy.
Jimmy. I see him storyteller.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Jimmy.
Yes, boss.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Morning, morning.
I constantly hear you mention about the Jamaican government. Which government was in power at the time of your kidnapping?
Well, you mean which administration?
Yes, sir.
It was a PMP administration. It occurred under the Michael Manley administration and continued under the PJ Pies administration through to the Golden administration and ended under the current administration, the Porter Simpson administration.
Another question I want to ask you. Are you a graduate from any law school, sir, whether here or overseas?
No, I'm not a graduate, but when you find yourself in deep water, you learn to swim quick.
Oh, I see. But I from observations made, sir, I realize that you don't even need an attorney to defend you.
Well,
you're doing a good job on your own.
Well, I tell you one thing. This position that the government finds itself in is indefensible, so no lawyer is needed. It's just for them to do the right thing and stop playing around like what they've been trying, because they must understand that there's no right way to do the wrong thing, and their actions and that of the United States was criminal in my criminal case. There's suppression of evidence that would deprive the court of jurisdiction. Had they done that, the court would not have tried me, convicted me, and sentenced me to 24 and a half years, which I did 22. So in essence, because of their criminal action of suppressing information that could change the outcome of a criminal case in the favor of a defendant, that's a criminal act.
Oh, yes, sir. And again, I overheard Mr. Small make mention that Mr. KD Knight would be on the program. Is he coming on?
No, I said that on the previous program, just with about 6 minutes to go or less for the program to finish, I got a message that KD Knight has been listening in and would like to join the program, and we allowed him and he got to speak. I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes.
I must have mistaken, because I thought I heard you say that he will be joining Jimmy this morning.
No.
Well, that's an error then.
All right.
Jimmy?
This person called me Jimmy. Apparently you know me well. So,
yes, sir.
Because only friends call me Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
All right, then.
I'm a very good friend of yours, and I hope that you will continue, sir, to fight on behalf of the Jamaican people. I overheard you mention that this is not you. This is not for you. You want to ensure that there is not a reoccurrence of the subject.
Of course.
So in other words, you are protecting Jamaicans for the future.
All right.
Right.
Thanks a lot, dear. So we have forgot to some other call, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right.
Next one, please. Morning, welcome. Straight up.
Good morning, Jerry.
Go ahead, please.
Storyteller, good morning, my brother.
Morning.
You know what me I get from this case here now?
What's that?
Yeah, when them say that them
Extradite.
Right. When them extradite somebody, them to deal with that part of it, and don't try the case, and don't look from where the person come from, because it's not them that try the case.
That is so true.
Yeah, look at the part for the extradition. Look at the part there. If the right procedures, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, you know, there's a part of the treaty that insists for that, you know. But what Jamaica has done, Jamaica has relaxed it so much that it's not a due process thing. You don't have no more due process. You don't have no preliminary hearing. What you have is a removal hearing, wherein you're identified as a person, and them say, boy, I go to America, go defend it. It don't work so.
Yes.
That's why
because you know why now, and when cast them know, they must go defend it now. And that's gonna make them look at themselves and look on his case as how it's supposed to look at.
Well, they can't defend it because it don't happen already.
I know that them can't defend it.
That's why.
I know that now. You understand? So this government, them learn a lesson.
Right, and they keep talking, they act as if to give a Jamaican due process is a bad thing because America want him. That's why America don't send their citizens to third world country like Jamaica, you know, because if they can get Jamaica government railroad their citizens violate their citizens due process, why should they send theirs here?
Yeah, listen now, look sir, man, I ask you a question. Suppose you say somebody commit a crime in America, just like Donald's case or your case, right?
Right.
And no, not like your case, like Donald's case.
Alright.
Them get somebody of America and them say at Donald's and the bars, they say the thing them down this side, right?
Right.
Alright now, why couldn't be whosoever them all of America, them deal with the of America, and whosoever them say involved in it, don't hear the government, them don't hear, all them don't hear, lock them up, don't hear, and if them want come down here and come try them down here, me feel say that, me feel afraid to go.
Well,
if them owe somebody America.
Yeah, hello, miss, hello. You have to give him a chance, respond because we have to move to the next call.
Well, let me explain this to you. There's a part of the treaty called dual criminality, where the evidence must be as strong that it can be tried in both countries. So what you're saying is possible if them do it the right way.
Right.
But I was extradited on propaganda allegation and could not even be arraigned on it.
Yes.
So they had to switch the whole thing and cover up.
It was different.
All right, thank you very much, man.
All right.
Next one. Good morning. Welcome. Straight up. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Go ahead, please.
Eli King Selassie Rastafari. Blessed morning, Aya.
Go on.
I'm blessed storyteller.
Yes, boss. Respect.
Yes, I give thanks, man. You seem to have a valid case, and I hope it work out for the best for you, you know.
Well, it's all about justice, you know. So it's not a personal thing, you know.
Man, justice will prevail, you know. Just that we have to keep up the pressure, because something was for you have to fight for, you know. Well, so easy, you know.
It's not my fight, it's a Jamaica fight. It's a Jamaica-US extradition treaty, not a Richard Morrison one or a storyteller one. So it's a Jamaica. You violate one Jamaican citizen right, you violate the whole Jamaican right. Every Jamaican.
So are the whole Jamaica supposed to fight?
Whole Jamaica is supposed to join me in this. Make sure. So what happened to me don't happen to me, because their treaty America tramp upon is their treaty. This jukebox government when a Jamaica sell out. You know, we don't want
that. We must understand, because what goes around comes around.
Yeah,
so you have to maybe in the shoes now another day, maybe somebody else.
Exactly, because the treaty is
all
there.
of us have to stand up together right now.
We don't want a government that when put foreign aid or loans ahead of your constitutional right. Paul Bogle and Sam Sharp, them never dead for that. Them dead for rights. Understand me?
Right. So your right is your right, man, wherever you are.
Without that, you don't have nothing, my virgin.
Alright, Mr. Small.
Yes, sir.
This morning, and we first start, I tell you, I don't know how you are so distinguishable, you know, man. Anyway you stand up, anyway you voice there, man can't so just say, boy, I see Jerry there, you know, you're Jerry there, you know. And I give thanks to that. But this morning, as a virgin who's been revolutionary, you know, and I say, boy, we're not in the culting and the worship thing, we stand firm on the teachings, you know.
Yes, sir.
This morning, a question did put forward to the eye. You never did really get to address it good still, but I tried to call in at the program and I never get through. When I'm on, I said, boy, what would you propose for Rastafari? Come tell it was a great morning, you know. Trust me, not even expect they were going to take any call.
Yeah.
Just I said, boy, what would you propose for Rastafari to head where it is supposed to go, you know?
Yeah.
I looking at it for a long time, and I said, boy, Rastafari is a school of thought and a way of life, not a churchical thing and a religion. Now we have many organs of Rastafari. Because I'm on, he say, meet a Rastaman, and the Rastaman say he has never gone to a celebration outside of him house.
Yeah.
Which I don't really like that. So I am saying, what I would propose, Mr. Small, since as we have so many houses of Rastafari, in each house of Rastafari, there should be an ambassador. See, an ambassador, one who can who dialogue between the other houses on behalf of his house.
Well, I have a very suggestion that I did make to the Millennium Council people and some other people, said that would be a great help. Two ambassadors.
Yeah, you must have that.
I did even say two ambassadors, one male and one female, to every other house that can sort out problems before them develop into crisis. And
Right.
constant communication between all of them.
Yes, and another thing, Rastafari have them own security firm, Mr. Small.
All them think they're great, man. Great ideas.
Yes. One with just a
Yes,
security firm.
yeah, and
Rastafari have them school.
Yeah, and these don't have to be owned by the organizations. You know. As long as individuals within the community establish these things, we support them.
That's
All
right.
right, you see, look for all thing there. What name, Papa Michigan. Where the other one name again, man?
Michigan and Smiley.
Yeah, man. Where the next one? Where brethren name, the man? Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin.
Oh.
Charlie Chaplin have a security company, you know. It named Border Patrol.
Yeah.
And when you go at Jazz and Blues and some of them big shows, Charlie Chaplin a run Border Patrol, tight security and a joke, you know. And when them a Rasta man or not, him no set up a run by regulation. Not by no pipe smoking or no man, no give no man no blind because I'm a Rasta. Strict rules. Okay, I forgot.
Set a rule.
Yes, I forgot now, but a great topic to bring up, sir.
Yeah, man, give thanks and praise.
All
This
of
one is
the-
also to be continued. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Rastafari lives.
One more, straight. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning to you both.
Morning.
Jukebox fellow government, strong term from Mr. Morris.
Well, appropriate.
Yeah, yes, strong term.
It was dear
Very
word,
strong
enough.
political.
No, lower liquor. It's a PNP propagandist, lower.
No, I'm a political science student. Are you the Mr. Morrison that was taken from the KPH some time ago?
No.
You're not the storyteller Morrison.
That was taken from where?
You were, I think, ill, and some men with high power weapons took you from the KPH. You're not that person, are you?
More propaganda. No,
Oh,
it's
you
not
mix
me.
him up with a white man.
Oh, wrong person.
No, wrong propaganda.
Wrong
Yeah.
propaganda. Different.
Question to you, Mr. Morrison. You're an innocent person. Innocent, very innocent.
Innocence and guilt have
No,
nothing to do with due process.
hold on. Lower for go around because it's a propaganda.
Go on.
Lower.
Propaganda is good, small.
Right.
But people don't know, so you don't have much sense. Yeah, Mr. Morrison,
Mm-hmm.
you're an innocent Jamaican.
Don't answer it.
Explain to me, how is it that you became, you arose on the radar of the Jamaican government and the U.S. government, one. And two,
Don't answer it.
why is it that you did not stand up to the American system when they took you there and fight it from there? Because had you done that, then the extradition treaty would have to have been looked at again to be properly constituted, because you are saying it is.
All right, the question can be long and interminable.
Those two questions.
Now come off of it. All right, listen now, because we're not going to give no more chance. Blow him now. Go on.
Okay. The first thing.
Yeah, go on, man.
Okay. On the second part, why I didn't stand up and challenge the American government over there. An extradition treaty is a treaty between the United States government and the Jamaican government. Standing come from the Jamaican government. If the Jamaican government don't say that their treaty is breached, in the 11th Circuit in Florida, I don't have standing on my own to say it is. The Jamaican government instructed their attorney, their law firm that they hired, Hall & Knight, not to bring up the breach of a doctrine of speciality in America. Only the fact that I was extradited, the breach that occurred in Jamaica. So if the Jamaican government refused to acknowledge the breach in the United States courts, I don't have standing.
You have to deal with the other question. 1 minute to deal with it.
What was the other question again?
I don't remember.
Well, I don't remember.
Why didn't you fight it over there?
That's what I just explained.
Okay.
I never have the legal standing.
All right. Hey, that's good. Okay, good morning and welcome to Straight Up. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Smart.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Storyteller Morrison.
Morning, boss. Morning.
Yeah, Mr. Morrison.
Yes, sir.
I must confess to you that I grew up in one of the most volatile areas in Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, concrete jungle, you see?
Right.
In the 70s, 80s. And when I was growing up in there, your name was one of the names that I hear call up.
Yes.
You link with some shower man. You're one of the dangerous shower man.
In what year that?
That is in the 80s.
Oh, that's after the indictment come out. The propaganda indictment.
You hear your name call up and you drive a lot of fear on the background.
Listen. You will hear anything of the propaganda machine start 1988, but that is their propaganda. So you will hear that, especially in your part of town. You're going to hear it a lot.
Are you there, sir? All right, it's one of our very useful contributors and correspondents. Next call, please. Good morning and welcome to Straight Up. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Welcome.
Hello?
Welcome, go ahead, please. Welcome and go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, welcome. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man. The person we are interviewing is a waste of time because everybody knows him was a big gunman and kill crazy people. That's what me I talk about.
All right, hold on.
What I talk about is safe seat. What is a safe seat?
A safe seat. All right, before we go to a safe seat,
yeah.
Tell me how you got to know about
No, man, I forget about that.
Well, here hold on. You see, like how we must forget about that, but the traitor, but you all forgot about it, and discuss it. Enough for you. Next one. Next call. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning and welcome to Straight Up. Hello?
Good morning to you.
How are you doing, ma'am?
You know, this is a very interesting story.
Yes.
And I guess I'd have to go do some research in the back papers to remember what this is all about. I always heard the name storyteller, but really didn't understand or pay attention to the story.
Yeah.
But I'm just taking sleep and mark this.
Well, you know, there's always a half that's never been told, you know?
Yeah, I'm just taking sleep and mark this. Because it could happen to anybody.
One thing.
Yeah.
Everything I've said is true, and I'm willing to meet anybody in any forum, public or anywhere, and we can have this discussion by law, just and law, not discretion, not feelings, not politics, just law and constitution. Because let me tell you something is either constitutional or legal. There's no gray area. It's either constitutional or it's not. It's either legal or it's not. And they want to find a gray area where they want to propaganda who you are and then railroad you during the court system, prosecute you illegally and without jurisdiction. I mean, I cannot believe, even though I've been through it every day, every hour, every minute, every second, I still can't believe it. Because when I hear the people speak who's supposed to be so... They talk so sanctimonious as if they are above this and above that. It's just stupid. It is disgusting.
All right. Just tell me, you sound very upbeat.
I am.
Did you ever feel depressed during the whole time?
I feel disappointed, feel embarrassed, feel ashamed. So I guess all those is some form of depression. Because
ashamed of yourself or the system?
The system, of course. Not me.
I got you into the situation.
I haven't done anything to be ashamed of.
Okay.
I never take a vow to hold up every Jamaican citizen's right. I don't collect taxpayer money and then go serve certain people. So I had nothing to be ashamed of. Never did, and to this day I have not. And I'm yet for them to tell me something that I have done that I should be ashamed. While on the opposite hand, I can show them a lot of things that they have done that they should be ashamed for their criminal actions.
All right. Well, just stay strong. That's what I have to tell you. Because this story is really very interesting.
It is.
And, Jerry?
Yes, ma'am.
On another note, let me again take this opportunity to use your platform to speak about the disappointment that I'm having with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Or we should call it social insecurity.
About the pension, no?
That's right. And since they cater to people by giving NIS pensions and pass programs and other handouts, I think they might be confusing the pensions, the NIS pensions, which people contributed to over their working life as a handout. Because you notice whenever you're poor, disabled, retired, or old, a lot of disrespect is shown. And this situation where pensioners cannot collect their pension because they have not received their books is really disgraceful, because they knew well in advance when the old books would have been finished, and those things should have been processed. Yesterday I went to the Ligani post office and I heard the books were there, but you're not able to be paid because the books have to go through internal processing at the post office, and it might take up to Friday. So you realize that people who got their pension, it is going to add up to 3 weeks now since they haven't gotten their money.
Yes, I realize. Well, thank you very much, and keep on at it, dear ma'am.
And thanks for the platform, because I don't, the claim is that they love poor people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think they love to have poor people.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Poor people are very useful.
Very, very useful, because they can show, they're easy to show off on.
All right, thanks a lot, dear ma'am.
Okay.
Next one, please. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Straight Up. Hello? Next one.
Robin, morning.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, man. Maro Wagwan.
Ah, boss, what can I say?
Yeah, I went last to Bobby T.
Come again?
When last to Bobby T.
I haven't seen him in a little while now, but
they're around though.
Everything is everything, yeah,
man. Cool. Like our thing said, we have a strong.
Fall but never heal.
Never heal. And a lot of people don't even know.
And them is finding that out now.
Yeah. And the more you pressure is, the more we will stand up.
Like a rubber ball, the harder you bounce me, the higher you go.
I don't want to go deep into that, because, it is out there and people's eyes is opening.
Well, I see we're in due process going to be a political issue. Yeah. But if they think that they're going to make one government feel bad for exercising due process over a citizen, they have another guest coming. Not when they railroaded, suppressed due process, you'd another law firm.
Next one. Jerry asked storyteller, what were Jim Brown and Mossop like as individuals? Quickly, sir. What were Jim Brown like?
I could tell you about Jim, not about Mossop. Well, the Jim I knew was a person who had more integrity than most of the people that I know. So, I guess as a man, that's all I can tell about another man,
Okay. Let's get to the phone call. Morning, welcome. Straight up.
Yeah, Robin, to be continued, man.
Oh, yes. You are still there, or you are cut off?
I heard you asked about, ask Maro if him knowing about anybody where it involved in a race ass.
Yeah.
But the Adir, you remember the Adir?
Adir,
yeah. Yeah, the Indian.
Yeah, I heard the name.
Yeah, the Adir. He was a jockey.
How about Showa, the jockey?
Yeah, then your name?
Showa.
Hey, Adir him name, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Adir, he was a jockey.
I him did go to Cayman.
Yeah, him and the man there.
Yeah, man copper.
Yeah, go do a thing.
Yeah, but people say him set copper.
Well, that is for another time.
Yes.
But yeah, man, he was a man with the demons. Jack,
Yes.
Jack he was a man where him and Jack did move up and down more.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know who call Jack.
Jack Massop.
Jack is Massop.
Yeah, man.
Claddy, the man who wear the golden bangle around his neck.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, Jerry, hear me now.
Yes, sir.
I did that day, I take up my civics book and dust it off,
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much to be learned.
Yes, sir.
And when every youth of him can get a civics book.
Yes, sir.
No matter when can get it, can read it.
Civics, right? Not physics. Civics.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because we need to know what we need to know. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you very much. Next one. Morning, welcome. Straight up, Go ahead, please. Next one, please. Hello.
Bongo.
Morning.
Go on, sir.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to bless the eye up on the program for really highlight and bring to light certain issues and things like Mr. Morrison here. Bless up, Mr. Morrison.
Respect, man. Thank you.
The program is a learning program. Cause I didn't even know that I was a Fortis man. You see me? The program make I really find out them things about. Keep strong, my brother, and go and do your thing, and don't make them get you down.
Them can't, man, because them try them best shot already,
See?
Yeah.
And Jerry,
sir,
I want to reiterate what the lady said a while ago about the Ministry of Labour.
Yes.
It's one of the worst ministries right now in the country. Because them basically the workers, working class in Jamaica have no rights whatsoever.
No protection.
Slavery is still being perpetuated in this island up to today right now.
Yeah. But in an election year, I hear that they ought to raise the minimum wage by at least 13%.
That is a joke. That is a sick joke because it takes, for a single person right now, in Jamaica, it takes them at least $10,000 per week to sustain themselves. Between food and transportation.
Yeah.
Worse if you have children. A joke them again.
The refugees them from Syria up to Europe in a far better position.
May I tell you, tomorrow morning I'm going to call the program early and point out some things to you about the minimum wage.
Yes, sir.
Analytical facts and fictions about the minimum wage.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yes,
early in the morning. Best of
thank you very much. Next one again. Morning, welcome straight up, hello?
My turn?
Yes, sir, welcome.
Yes, man. Again, yeah, what the brethren are saying sound like to me like what you call non-feasance, right? Which is an omission of something which I'm supposed to do and I'm not do. Right? Which, at the other word, we call malfeasance because it's an unlawful act.
Yeah.
Oh, brethren, you hear about the misfeasance in public office? You can't sue them for that and it's a tort claim.
Listen, I don't know why I can't sue them for. I can't sue them for everything you can ever think of legally. Because there is no legality, no justification, no morality. It was a criminal act on the part of the United States government and the Jamaican government at the time acting in collusion. That's all.
But I just that nice because if them go on them things there.
Listen.
I always wonder about all them extradition business. I couldn't never see like them follow nothing correctly.
Well, you know, extradition has always been a political tool from way back, you know.
Way back.
Where people, government uses to get rid of certain people and all that. But it still have due process. It have terms of the treaty that protect you as a person who's been extradited. But they trampled mine in the ground as if it don't mean nothing. Well, we
have to wrap up. Don't feel no way. I have a couple more calls.
Right,
but thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yes,
thank you very much. Welcome back to Straight Up. I am your host, Jerry Small. Yes, we welcome already, as we say, Dr. Hamilton Taylor. How are you doing, sir?
Great, man.
You've been here several times before, I believe. And we have some music transfer.
Yes,
talk to man.
They can do it.
No, talk to man. Explain.
No, man.
All right. Explain to the brother for me.
Explain, yeah, man.
Okay, you're just back from Ethiopia. By the way, God.
Yes.
Addressing God, but is you really asking the question. When we met you in 1968, I met you. You was a little youth. About how old was that time?
About 5.
Because I remember your parents, you used to be up and down with your parents at all of the African and the black militant and the nationalistic events that was happening around Jamaica. Remember?
That's right.
And your mother is Norma Hamilton.
Yes.
Venerable Norma Hamilton. And of fact, she's
also known as Nana Faraika Burhan.
Yes. And she was very active in that time along with brother Boros, no Boros?
Yes.
And up and down, you used to drive in a giant car. It was well known all over Kingston and a little less well known all over Jamaica as the Rastamobile car. Whole heap of Ras, mother, father and children up and down the night.
Yes.
And boy, it was a militant family. So you were that young at that time, but I remember seeing the whole of the man all the while.
Yes.
You remember? You remember?
Yes,
that?
I remember the car. But what was the car again? Was it a Plymouth?
It was a Plymouth. Plymouth. With a fishtail.
Fishtail.
Right.
About a 1960 something Plymouth.
Right, 50 something.
59. I think it's a 59 Plymouth. A true man. Huge car.
But the family, I mean, Garvey Day is coming up, so the family have a connection to Garvey because the princery where Garvey learned printing.
Boros.
Right. In St. Anne's Bay, that is the
Boros'
great
grand was Trevor.
Yes.
Trevor Boros, yeah.
Right. That's his grandfather.
Yeah.
So it would be my grandfather, step-grandfather, or grandfather-in-law. Oh yeah.
And you know that they had a branch in Port Maria?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, and that's why Garvey later on returned and visited Port Maria because he had been working at the branch there.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, we even learned. Yes. So, Boros was the godfather of Garvey.
Of Garvey, yeah.
Right. So he
taught him the trade.
right, as an apprentice in the printer in St. Anne's Bay.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather, A.G. Hamilton, who is who I'm named after, he was one of the early persons of African descent who got into the larger scale of construction. Right, contracting. He worked on the nursing school here, Half Moon Bay Hotel, primary schools, and a lot of his own little sort of mini sort of housing developments, one of the early ones. But after the state seized Garvey's properties, he's the one who built the house for the Garvey family on Mona Road.
We just passed that one point road, yeah?
And he actually
it's
built it basically.
It's 2 houses side and side, 12.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he built it essentially pro bono for the family as his contribution as a Garvey.
Oh yeah? Why that's great information you're giving. Because we just drive past there and remind God about that premises. Number 12 Mona Road.
And we used to visit the family, we used to visit Mrs. Garvey.
Yeah.
You know,
that's Amy Jakes, right?
Yeah, that's where she tell most of the things I learned from her is right inside her premises. She tell me about them.
But a great lady of dignity.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like Winnie Mandela. While Garvey was incarcerated, even when he passed her, she was the one who keep the thing going until it catch a fire back.
Yes, and she was a great organizer, and in terms of the publication, she's the one who put together philosophy and opinions. She collected the various, because Garvey was, so she was really a side by side
equal person,
and a person of great dignity. I would her personality, I would compare it to Empress Menin and to Mrs. King, Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King, right? As someone person would be more familiar with, if you you know, her bearing and strength of speech, which and strong spiritual and moral
and
values,
I know our family. I know our family. She was a little older than my mother, but herself and her sister was descendants of some Africans who came here from Haiti. And they went to Woolmers. Mrs. Garvey and her sister, Mrs. Ripoll, Denny Ripoll mother. They went to Woolmers, and my mother and her sister went to Woolmers also. They were the most close friend. And they had a lot of land, the family had a lot of land. That's why Jake's Road along Mountain View, named after the family, because Jake's land over the name.
I see.
But apart from that now, she also, it was who made me know of Rastafari before he was even crowned. Sent and made contact with Garvey. She personally tell me about them things. Sent and made contact with Garvey and the UNIA quietly. Offered them land in Ethiopia and sent donations to more than one of the conventions in August in New York, every August, 1922-23. And
who did that?
Mrs. Garvey told me about those things personally.
Who had offered the land?
Rastafari before him even crowned. So they were aware of this other young man on the other side of the world who was sympathetic with Garvey and the movement, and who made offers of them to come to Ethiopia and give them land and sent money to them and sent delegations to more than one of the conventions. So later on, when Garvey became kind of impatient with Haile Selassie while he was in London, it was because he had expected so much from Rastafari, but you know, Tafari we have moving slower. But he was expecting so much because they both of them were impressed with one another in the early 20s. Now, you just come back from Ethiopia.
And before you leave that point, I think it's important, one of the things I noticed in the Pan-African world, right, is that those who we regard highly, persons, they allow others to find, you know, one fault here, one fault there to try and dismiss, whereas the whole, you know, other people in the world, other groups, you know, make sure to regard their heroes and so on, and say, well, okay, the person did one thing, but you know, that does not dismiss
well, I will
the
never
person and the you know, right, because you know, that's to get to the Ethiopia part. If you see the whole foundation for the development of Ethiopia, of modern Ethiopia, is still and is now even being re-recognized as being that of Emperor Haile Selassie. Right, and actually his father before him, Ras McConnell, who did a lot of work, diplomacy that person didn't know, and the Emperor Menelik.
But McConnell and Menelik, from in the 1890s, used to send delegations to the United States, to the black American people. That is how, it was one of those missions who met the elder, the senior Powell, Adam Clayton Powell. And it's as a result of meeting those missions and getting strengthening from them. Both priests and both laymen were sent from Ethiopia by Ras McConnell and Menelik. And that's why Adam Clayton Powell formed him church, him named it the Abyssinian Baptist Church, because of those contacts and those encouragement that was coming from Ethiopia from in the 1890s. Similarly, how you go to Ethiopia quietly, you're doing some great work and thing, but you're doing it quietly. So them used to send people back and forth quietly. Very, you just come from Ethiopia. You take it upon yourself to do something.
Right. So I was on research sabbatical from the university.
You get a holiday.
No, it's not a holiday.
Not a holiday. No, sabbatical. I just explain to people that you take off some time after usual work. You go do some other work.
Yes, so for you to do what research and other things to increase your knowledge and experience, so that the persons don't remain just at one.
Yeah, and the people who are teaching won't be just the same crap every year.
Yes.
They will. The more you're teaching, the more your students are going to be advanced and develop.
Right, because you can relate to them, not just book things, things you've read in books, but
in
your
Ethiopia,
own experience.
In Ethiopia, what you were able to do?
A number of things. One is I visited 6 or 7 universities.
Yeah.
And
so much university did I know?
Oh no, I didn't get to see. There are
many.
Well, they built 20 new universities in the between the 90s and 2000. 20 new universities.
Yes, sir.
So there are I would estimate at least 30 universities. But I visited some of the main universities. So Addis Ababa University, which is the original and first university, which was actually a palace that was donated by Haile Selassie to start the first university. And I gave a seminar there to the PhD students, and I also watched attended as I guess some of their PhD defenses to see, what
in computer science.
Yes, computer science and information technology and so on, which are all closely related. One is a little bit more.
So you wanted to see where is there? They had a seminar.
Yes, more than one. So we see where what is their standard of work, both at the doctoral level and at the undergraduate level, and also presented to them. So it's an exchange of knowledge, and also part of the goal of that was to sort of understand.
When Haile Selassie came here in '66, he asked the Jamaican government, let us have an exchange between this university and our universities.
Well, that would be great, and there's still interest currently.
So apart from that big seminar, where you went to other
yes, a number. So there's that one, and as I was mentioning, that university was actually the grounds, and the original buildings were a palace that was donated by the emperor for that purpose.
Little Janet,
right, and it is considered one of the leading universities in Africa. In fact, while I was there, they announced there were something like number 2 in research output, competing with these established universities more known in South Africa and so forth. I visited Lalibela, which these are the ancient sites of
the
Ethiopian
church and faith,
tradition.
Faith, even before Christianity, even from Jewish time.
Right, and Aksum, which is, Aksum now is definitely coming from the time of the Queen of Sheba and even before. So, we're talking
that's
BC.
3,000 plus years.
And Adawa, and the monasteries. And all these places have monasteries and so on surrounding them.
Which are really teaching institutions.
Yes, because the Ethiopians will tell you that the original scholars were then the monks and the priests who actually, they were the ones who actually developed the writing system And they tell you that a known person in those days would know 6 or 7 languages to be considered a person of knowledge. Then they would know you know, Giz, which is their ancient spiritual language. They would know Amharic, they would know Hebrew, Greek, and so forth. And a lot of the scholarly works that have been done abroad, it's really the persons from abroad who came and just talked to them, and they actually give them much of the information about the heritage. But they also developed musical instruments. They developed like forms of harps and so on. They developed music forms, they developed art forms, and they developed architectural forms, which is why Lalibela is carved from the ground down. And what I can tell you,
stone.
Out of solid stone. So when you stand before a church and you're looking, it is 3-4 stories high, and it's been carved out of solid rock, and then inside it's finely carved and so on. To see it in pictures and to actually be there, when you actually stand before it, it's as if you really wonder. It's on the scale of the pyramids. Right? When you actually stand there, you wonder how did they do this in terms of technology and so on. And even currently now, it cannot be currently reproduced. Right? Or the stele of Aksum, you look at something that is 7 stories high. One solid piece of rock.
How was it hoisted?
And moved. Because when they tell you where
the raw material come from.
As one solid.
And them never have no long
crane.
Where you call them truck, the long bed truck and no trailer articulated this and that. Or did they?
I tell you. So the art and the heritage is so rich. I'm telling you, it is overwhelming in beauty and joy. And
look, even the art you talk about. The form of Ethiopian art, storytelling through art. It precedes cartoon, where you know cartoon is done by strips, where one picture is drawn here, and in the next picture you see a similar picture but a little action further down the line in the story, and a series of pictures showing a series of action, and you read it like when you read cartoon, going down the line, comic strip. The Ethiopian artwork even telling about the story of Solomon and Sheba and all different stories. Samson killed the lion and all different things. It's a series of pictures like a strip cartoon thing, thousands of years, and in color. Thousands of years before it developed in the Western Hemisphere.
In color, and then you see in the art too. I mean, they have their own form of art. You also see in that art their picture, which would be similar to what Garvey is talking about, where you see these things through our spectacles. So you see with an afro or sometime, although they will tell you that they do accept other renditions, but this is their their tradition and rendition.
The picture of the John the Baptist and the picture of the Christ and the picture of the lady at the well. You're looking at African pictures of African people.
Right. And one of the things I did on that, so the second sort of part to this was how we really I wanted to see how the ancient and the modern, because they're now moving in the era, the modern era and the era of computing and smartphones, how these two things are working together and how the young persons, right? So we filmed a documentary.
That's great.
And a whole set of photographs, and part of that documentary was filmed in 3D. To sort of give you, to have a 3D video camera. That's part of now the research I'm doing here. How can we use the modern media, right, and the modern things to educate students, both not only just scientifically, but in terms of their heritage and so forth, because the countries that are doing really well in terms of advancing quickly, whether it's China, India, and so on, one of the reasons they are doing well is that their students not only appreciate the scientific and technological thing, but they appreciate their heritage, so they're now motivated to use that knowledge to develop their countries and their economies and their
them appreciate the modern and the futuristic things.
Yes.
But they realize how long they have been at it, longer than most people or probably anybody else in the world. And they want to bracket both things, the future and and creation, from creation to the future.
See.
It's a great way to document them things.
So right, so call the Wave Lab, web animation. See how these things can be used productively. Not just to say, boy, we have all these fancy things, because from my perspective,
it's not just for celebration, it's utilitarian. You want it to be utilized.
Yes, and I'm coming
your perception as well. Your perception as well.
Yeah, well, my perspective again, you know, that is, you know, you want to see our branch of computer science, the one I mean, which is more the what they call the human experience and so on, is where you look at how human beings really use these things effectively and how you do design. So it is sort of where it meets society, the effects on society, where it meets art, where it meets design of new products.
Where the rubber meet the road.
That's it.
It's not,
so,
you know.
How we, whether as Caribbean people, as African people, Pan-African, or whether developing people of the developing world, how we can really use these things effectively in our interest in the long term, and also for education effectively, because now I'm in the education sector for now over 30 years.
Yeah, and talking about that,
over 25 years here.
Well, and as you were speaking, it come to my mind that you have a daughter who I met there was very sharp.
Yes.
And did she get to go?
Well, so there are two daughters.
Yeah.
And one of them is now a senior software developer at LinkedIn in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Right. So part of the journey actually went to Silicon Valley as well.
California.
Yes, I got some of my original training there too as a teenager when we had to.
So you are the prototype of Makonnen. That I miss Blake Hannah. What's your name again?
Yes. Yes.
So you was like Makonnen before Makonnen.
Right. We helped to train a lot of the young people. Some not even. I've had no students. Past students who bring their children to me.
Yeah, so in the 30 second that we have here, that daughter is now a programmer.
Yes,
so the younger one is the one that I'm more.
Yeah, she's now she's on scholarship at Columbia University.
What, the younger one?
Yeah, man.
So far reached,
Right, she's studying again computer science and materials engineering.
Yeah, materials engineering, I tell you.
Yeah, she have a couple of years though.
Well, thank you very much. You can't complain about how your time has been used.
Well, we can always, we try, and we're always looking to go to the next.
Yeah, man.
The next little higher.
Well,
thanks for the work you're doing. And,
yeah, man. Thank you for spending the time here with us. At another time, we can spend some more time.
Give thanks.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much.
All right. Yes. I will leave on track. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
Send in the brethren there for me now.
Yes.
If I'm out here. So since you are here,
we shall return.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. We'll return because there's a lot more to really let you know. And in fact, as I said, the documentary, when we put it together, we're going to be showing both here on campus, off campus.
All right. Great. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Then.
We learned so much in that like 20 minutes. Thank you very much. Straight up. One of the main points that we see staring us into the face, apart from the guilt or the blame worthiness of any individual, we know that the Jamaica government has a tradition and as a culture, the Jamaican government from Henry Morgan till now, and still going strong in the same spirit, is willing to do human trafficking in individuals either kidnapped to Jamaica or born in Jamaica, and to make dealings with other countries for the benefit of the government and the government officials and the government party. We have to face this now. the two dominant parties in Jamaica, both of them have benefited from the service of youth, young and not so young males and females out there who are willing either from the 40s, willing to put some muscle, use some muscle in forcing other people politically, are willing to use weapons in forcing other people, are later on willing to even bring in funds. And I want to know if you acknowledge that both of the parties them benefit from the criminal culture and from the proceeds of crime, and then at the same time when they are in government, they don't provide any correction of these situations.
I'm not sure if the government benefit, but
no, the parties, I'm talking about the parties.
Okay, the parties, they benefit because they get support from these communities in the terms of votes to secure certain seats. If you notice,
but different from the votes, I'm talking about the enforcement of will by the use of strong arms from the parties.
Of course, that is
by the use of firearms and by the use of generation of money internationally.
Well, as I said before, I can only attest to what is common knowledge, wherein on an election day a bus will come and under intimidation people will be rounded up and put on these buses and bus to the polling station where they are instructed how to vote. So for the seat, for the politician, he benefits. Financially, I'm not sure. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they benefit. I know they benefit from the muscle and the intimidation that the...
But look here. The lotto trade is a multi-billion-dollar trade. And the parties benefit from financing of them campaign. Right? And also, okay, somebody want to join the discussion. Can we put him on? Yes, we're going to call him, okay. Yes, financing of them campaign, financing of several campaigns through proceeds from the lotto trade, which we know the lotto trade costs hundreds of Jamaican lives. And other trades and other such activities bring in financing into these political parties, and whether individually. And matter of fact, a very famous incident took place when a party was in great need of money, and a man just come donate a whole heap of money, and the party benefit. I mean, we know. Somebody want to join the conversation. Let me read some text message. Jerry, how Miss Burke have meeting with gays about? How Miss Burke have meeting with gays about? You mean why? What Miss Burke have meeting with gays about? The young men the soul they kill do not have rights in this country. What I think? I think you're talking about Angela Brown Burke addressing the gay rally over the Emancipation weekend here. Next one. Good morning, Mr. Small. Please recommend a book that speaks to the teaching of Haile Selassie. Well, maybe in autobiography there are many, and there are many. If you go up on the internet, ask somebody to help you go up on the internet, you'll find many. Next one. Bongo, how come Selassie never remained in Ethiopia and challenged the Ethiopian army like a good general? He run and left the soldiers to die. That's what you say. Next one. Jerry them for legalize the weed. Enough youth in our west would have been better. Good morning and welcome. Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir.
Hi, Jerry. How are you doing?
But they sound like KD night.
That's correct.
How are you doing?
Not bad. And morning to the persons on your program and to your listeners.
Yes, morning.
Yes, sir.
I was hearing just a little part of it.
Yeah.
In relation to Mr. Morrison.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to clear up certain things. The government of Jamaica at the time recognized that Mr. Morrison ought not to have been tried in the United States for one of the offenses for which they wanted him.
Yeah.
And the then Minister of Justice, I wasn't the Minister of Justice at the time, the then Minister of Justice had signed the extradition order on the basis of the information he had been given, which was routine. However, sometime after, the lawyer, I think it was Mr. George Souter, made some complaints that Mr. Morrison had actually appealed, and so the extradition ought not to have been done at all. So that there was a recognition at the time and a public statement at the time that he ought not to have been extradited. And that because he had not exhausted all his legal rights. But I will tell you this, in terms of the trial of the offense for which he was not extradited, that created a big furor, and it fell upon me because I became the Minister of Justice shortly after, and it fell upon me to hold discussions with the United States government, and I had discussions with the State Department and the Department of Justice, and in the strongest possible way protested the action they were taking.
Now that you mentioned that, I think I do recollect something like that.
That's correct. And then the United States government depended on a decision of their courts concerning someone who had been taken from Mexico, and said that once a person was within the jurisdiction, then they could proceed. I distinguish that case from our case. And I will tell you this, that in a meeting with the authorities, I said to them, if you proceed, we are going to denounce the treaty. And they thought I was a crazy coot because I spoke very strongly.
I'm so sorry that we completely out of time, but I thank you very much for joining the program. Yes, sir.
But may I just say one thing?
10 seconds.
We suspended the extradition treaty.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of that case. And I went to Parliament and made a statement about it. And if you look in the Extradition Act, you will see several amendments that were made in 1995.
We're completely out of time here, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, my producer also, Tanya Richards. And I want to thank my guest, Ashley Hamilton Taylor, Mr. Morrison. I want to thank God White, and my brother Peter, and Kelisha Williams and Yahin Stewart. Thank you very much. Straight up. Take care, and take care of God White for me in the meantime. Take care of one another out there.